defense starts 2 rookies and 3 second-year guys, and they play some other rookies and second-year guys. So like they should continue to get better, and they just look faster to me, more athletic.
Absolutely, and I just think that the young pieces are getting together. And Cam Jordan, he is to me the best overall defensive end in football right now, against the run and against the pass, because you get all the hype with a defensive end because of his ability to rush the passer. When he can do what he can do to offensive linemen, literally pick them up, throw them into Matt Stafford, and what can you do when that happens? It's probably the easiest sack he's ever had. All he's got to do is lean over and touch Matt Stafford because the offensive lineman's on top of the guy. Intercepting passes, batting passes. Look, the defense, don't be fooled by the points scored. Here's what's going to happen. I think, I'm waiting for Saints fans to complain that, oh, look, they're not giving the defense that much love because they're still saying that they gave up 38 points a game. You're going to have to ignore that because they did not give up 38 points a game. We know one score was a pick six by Ashawn Robinson. Who would have ever thought he would ever intercept a pass off Drew Brees and score a touchdown? And crappy punt coverage, which Sean Payton was none too happy about after the game, rightfully so. Of course, the punt return for the touchdown. So they only gave up 24 points. And so you can't put that on them. And giving up 24 points to a Detroit Lions team, an offense like that, is a very good performance in and of itself.
Right. I agree 100%. You can't look at that point total. Once things happen in the NFL like that, once momentum starts going the other direction, it's hard to reverse it. It just is. We saw it at the lower level at LSU-Auburn. You could sense in that game, once LSU got the momentum, Auburn was on its heels on both sides of the ball. Happened to the Saints yesterday. It happens at that level. To me, it was impressive that the special teams, even though they gave up the long punt return, 2 different times, Morstead's punts that were downed inside the 5-yard line led to touchdowns. That you can't overlook that. If those balls go in the end zone, the strip sacks, the fumbles, the interceptions all happen at the 20 or so, not in the end zone. So those help produce points.
And I know Sean Payton walked into his press conference and was bent out of shape about those things. And, of course, you have to be as a coach, because if those are tight games and you do those things, you lose games. But I also think it's Sean Payton, short answers after a win, wants to keep the team even keel. It's the first, because we're writing and everyone's going to be reporting what the facts are now. The Saints have won 3 in a row. The first time they're above 500 since 2013. Aaron Rodgers is essentially out for the year with a broken collarbone. They're going to be going up to Green Bay. I think I saw the spread was the Saints are favored, and it's a huge spread already that the Saints are favored by. Maybe I misread something.
It moved 10 points once Aaron Rodgers
moved 10 points.
Was declared out.
It wasn't that they're a 10-point favorite. It moved 10 points. And so the Saints have a legitimate shot.
6-point favorites.
Saints have a legitimate shot to go up to Green Bay and win a game that we didn't think they'd have a prayer of winning 2 weeks ago. And if Aaron Rodgers was in there, we probably would say, all right, maybe the Saints could play a tight game, but we still would be hesitant to pick them to win. But look, Sean Payton is going to have to try to calm this thing down, because, look, you could tell this young team is excited. They're fired up, and rightfully so. And I'm sure I'm going to be speaking in a lot more positive attitude. You know, and unfortunately, it's someone said on Twitter, reminded you and me that 7 more wins and I lose all of my hair. What's up with that?
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
shaved head, mullet?
It's definitely going to happen. But, well, you're right. We don't know what's going to happen the rest of the way. There's a lot of football left to be played, but this team is on the come right now. They are playing with confidence, and look, they just got Taron Armstead and Willie Snead back. The offense should get better. The offensive line is dominant right now. I mean, they're running the ball well. Breeze is not getting pressured that much. He's getting the ball out quick, but they're playing along both lines. And that game, you're right. That game yesterday by Cam Jordan might be the best game I've seen by a defensive lineman, at least in the last decade.
Definitely for the Saints.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, easily.
I mean, It was just a dominant performance. Batting balls, I mean, those are huge plays. Those are plays the Saints didn't make. Look, that's a big play. Just like getting a holding call is a big play, and it doesn't really show up in the stat book. This defense is starting to make plays, and they never did before. It's the first time this season that anybody's won 3 games in a row by 2 touchdowns. The Saints have won 3 in a row by 2 touchdowns. The only team in the league that's done that, and it's the first time they've won 3 games in a row by 2 touchdowns since 2011 when they were just trucking people at the end of that season. And we both agree that that might have been the best Saints team that we've covered, at least the most talented team. You can't overlook that. I mean, you can't explain that away as sheer luck. I mean, they've won 3 games in a row in the league where every game is like a field goal. They're winning going away.
And we're seeing crazy stats and finishes to NFL games, and we'll touch on a lot of those and how it relates to the Saints coming up later on in the show. Guest free by design on a Monday show. So get involved. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. Give us your thoughts on Saints-Lions. Give us your thoughts on LSU-Auburn. We'll hear from Kenny Vaccaro, what he had to say after yesterday's win. Kind of a trifecta interview where myself, Jeff, and Josh Katzenstein interview A.J. Klein after the game. So we'll hear from that. We'll hear from Coach O. And we will also get into what would have been a much bigger topic after the game if the Saints wouldn't have played an exciting game and actually won the game. And it has to do with what happened before the game involving the national anthem. So I'm going to put that off till, say, 10:45. We'll talk about it in that segment because I do think it's important, and yet I don't want to make this some gigantic, huge, monumental story because I think it was a misunderstanding all over the map and just turned out to be kind of an ugly scene. So we'll go through that. And again, your phone calls, 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved here. So come on back. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. We're Dunc and Holder.
Clay travels.
I'm a First Amendment absolutist.
Mornings 5 to 8.
I open up phone lines and let people just tee off on me and say I'm racist. Why do I do that? Because 1, I know I'm not racist. And 2, I think that allowing more voices to talk is always better than less.
Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Hello.
All right, we got DJ in NOLA East.
The back of your closet? What happened to us?
I have
used to
text
somewhere
ability,
in the Hamptons,
so if you
and
want to
now
text
I'm
me,
stuck
you can.
behind a pair.
Oh, okay.
Okay, maybe I never really fit you right, but I got a lot more Sunday fun days left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Here's a little fiction masqueraded as facts. Did you know that banks don't give loan modifications just because you're paying your mortgage loan late? A lot of people believe this and have been told this, but it's wrong. I'm John Hope Bryant, the founder of Operation Hope. Let us help you negotiate with your lender in a logical way with a HUD-certified counselor
like you weren't allowed to use little snippets from NFL
today.
games. People using it everywhere.
I know. Remember, we were getting
I mean, I see it
now. It's all over the place.
It's all over the place. I don't know if they've just given up on that or what.
Did you know that creating a realistic budget is one of the first steps out of the foreclosure process? I'm John Hope Bryant, the founder and CEO of Operation
it's up and running, right?
Let one of our HUD-certified counselors walk you through the process of helping you save your home. For 20 years and 2 million customers and clients,
people in there.
People help themselves.
Really? Yeah.
Go to our Mortgage Hope Crisis Hotline, online at operationhope.org, or call one of our counselors at 888-3.
All right, we got Cordell in Minnesota, too.
Okay, DJ and Cordell. Let me get a pen here.
Jeff, I guess your sister, something called, wants to know why YouTube Live isn't up.
It's up now.
It's up now.
But most
God.
Oh, okay.
20% on auto parts.
God.
That's 20%.
Jeffrey, I need to see your face.
Filters. 20% off virtual.
Are you okay?
At least somebody
Did you burn
does.
yourself with a hot coffee?
Usable bag. So tell your buddies, there's a bag they just have to check out. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa Know-How.
All right, 20 seconds. So DJ NOLA East and then Cordell in Minnesota.
Yeah,
Exclusions apply. Offer ends 10/31/17.
I'm Susan Lucci. Over 2 million Americans have a type of irregular heartbeat called atrial fibrillation, or AFib, a condition where a blood clot can travel from the heart to the brain, causing a stroke. Visit facingafib.com and get serious about stroke today.
The butterfly, that's old. Let me see the Tootsie Roll. This is Dunc and Holder on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Saints 52, Lions 38. That sounds insane still to me. 52-38. I mean, we're used to hearing some crazy scores with the Saints. But 52 points, the last time they put up 52 points was a couple years ago against the Giants. And they won that game by the skin of their teeth, 52-49. And, oh, by the way, Jeff, that game put the Saints to 4-4. And then following that, they took the dive. And I think that's the year that, I think that was 2 years ago. They lost 4 of their next 5. Of course, after losing 2 in a row, and the second one coming in Washington, they fired Rob Ryan. No one's firing anyone right now. I'll just put it to you that way. Things are looking up on Airline Drive.
You know what was interesting? I may be mistaken about this, speaking of Rob Ryan, but Auburn does their defensive place calls with those big cards, those big signs on the sideline.
I feel like they've done that for a while, yeah.
And one of the pictures was Rob Ryan. Like one of the quadrant was a big photo of Rob Ryan. I don't know how well it was working, but I thought that was interesting.
Well, I think by the end it wasn't working really well because LSU came back and won on them. So yeah, the old Rob Ryan experience. I'm sure he's backed away from ripping away on the Saints. But let's hit the phone lines real quick, and then we will dive more into the game as far as our take. Kenny Vaccaro, AJ Klein will we'll involve you as well. Let's go to DJ in NOLA East. DJ, thanks for calling Dunc and Holder. What's up, DJ?
Yeah. All right, man. Look, I hate to be one that says I told you so, but when the Saints were 0-2, I told you that they were going to make the corrections to those mistakes those young cornerbacks and all were making, and I think it's proven that you have to have hope.
DJ, I think you got the wrong show. I was sunshine and roses after 0-2.
Man, that if things go right, the Saints could actually be 6-2. At the halfway point, and I think that's making a big comeback after going 0-2. And I just wanted to get y'all reaction on the turnaround, and I think that we have great things in store coming up in the future.
Hey DJ, thanks for calling. Yeah, Jeff, I was always on board.
Yeah,
always on board.
Apoplectic would be the description I would use.
I put my hair on the line. I was so on board. Now this decision might come back to bite me. It'll be on YouTube Live, Facebook Live when I lose all my hair.
Well, I think we were pretty positive for the most part, considering how bad they looked in the first 2 weeks. I know Saints fans now are full of vim and vigor. Just slow your roll a little bit. I mean, this is one of those games. I think Sean Payton's tone after the game that Larry alluded to is spot on right now. This is a young team. We see it all over the league. As soon as you start thinking you're good, you end up getting beat by some team that you thought you were going to beat by 2 touchdowns. This is a very dangerous game. I know Green Bay is without their starting quarterback, superstar quarterback, but Brett Hundley is a good young prospect. He's been in the league now a couple of years. Mike McCarthy is one of the best offensive minds in the league. He will have a very successful game plan for Brett Hundley. That's not going to be an easy game by any means. So I think the reason Peyton is doing what he's doing, it's classic Bill Parcells. The don't eat the cheese. He knows Larry and I are going to be spoon-feeding cheese all over the place this week, and we're not alone. Everybody is. Right now, the Saints are as scary as any team in the NFC. I mean, who's the best team in the NFC right now? Do we know?
We don't know anymore. We would have said Green Bay before the injury, and that's going to be a different story now.
Philadelphia, I guess.
Well, technically they are. They are the number 1 team in the NFC right now because they're 5-1. But then you look at it.
The Saints are number 6 seed right now. If the playoffs started today, the Saints would be in.
They'd be in. Look, Minnesota's 4-2, Green Bay's 4-2, Carolina's 4-2, and the Saints, by virtue of, I guess, conference record or division record right now, they're above Atlanta in the division because they're 1-0 and Atlanta hasn't played a division game yet. Look, the Rams are 4-2, and look, the Saints have to play the Rams, so they're starting to be a young team with some confidence. But look, we're instead of popping champagne, we're spraying Cheese Whiz everywhere because they deserve it, though.
Right.
Sean Payton knows they deserve the good pub, but he has to keep that in line. I mean, It's the same thing when the ship's going down. He's got to try to rally the troops. When the ship is high atop the mountain, standing up top, well, at least somewhat high above in the playoff top right now, let's call it, you got to keep it even keel.
Well, how many teams have lost their quarterbacks this year? That's the other thing. I mean, the Saints, relatively speaking, are very healthy. I mean, I know they've lost Streif and Anzalone and guys at John Kuhn, but the key players on their team, the really critical guys, are all healthy for the most part. They've got to be one of the healthiest teams in the NFL, especially at the critical positions. And they get Delvin Breaux back at some point, we assume. That's why you have to be kind of excited right now and be encouraged, because this team should continue to get better.
Let's take a couple more phone calls before we take another break here on the show. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. A couple of regulars, so happy to hear from them. Cordell in Minnesota. Cordell, thanks for calling Dunc and Holder. What you got, Cordell?
Hey guys, how y'all doing today? Happy Monday.
Yeah, we're doing great, Cordell.
Oh, it's party time USA. I always knew it. Yeah. They would go 0-2 and just bounce back, no problem.
Hey, man, listen. I was calling.
Is this telling lies Monday? Not tell the non-truths Monday.
I'm so excited and happy that we won yesterday. It would have been nice to get the trifecta with LSU winning and Tulane losing. It would have been nice to have all three teams win.
Tulane,
I would have really shook up Minnesota up here. But one thing I wanted to say is, I agree with you guys when you say, this team has got to do nothing but get better because because of the youth. It was a great thing that they did when they drafted a lot of these young defensive players the last couple of years, and they're coming in and they're contributing and helping turn everything around. So that's a great thing. But listen, this is my question. My question is, what is it about Craig Robertson that the coaches don't really want him to start, because they really project him as a special teams player, but every time that guy's on the field, he shows up and he shows out?
That's a good question. He does play well. He played well all last season, but for whatever reason, they feel like he's more valuable as a special teamer. I don't know. That's a question for Sean Payton. We'll have to ask him this week, because that was a big-time play he made yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Cordell. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Cordell, let me let you run. Appreciate the phone call. But, yeah, you're right. Okay. Craig Robertson, look, the fact that you have him in a pinch and he's able to come in, and I think he's better not having to be the middle linebacker in the defense. So I think you're seeing him play a little more freely. And he was one of the best players on the field. Did it tackling, did it taking the ball away, literally taking the ball from Matt Stafford's right hand and said, nope, that's going to be mine.
He's got to work on his running skills, though. I mean, he's got to elude Matthew Stafford. He's going to hear about that this week.
There's no doubt about that.
Cannot get away from Matthew Stafford in open field to get another. It could have been 4 defensive touchdowns. It's insane. We'll never see another day like that from a defense. And I was surprised. I asked Cam Jordan after the game, that's the first touchdown he scored, if he kept the game ball, and he said no, he didn't. Matter of fact, a lot of players didn't keep their game balls in a game where you would think, I mean, Ken Vaccaro got his first touchdown. It was just a game for firsts. A lot of players having highlight reel type plays and performances. Mark Ingram had a huge game. He's now the goal line back. Fantasy football owners everywhere are happy because he's getting the ball. I happen to own Alvin Kamara in one of the leagues I'm in. I'm not happy.
Hashtag nobody cares about your fantasy football team, Jeff.
Just give the rook the ball sometimes. That's all I'm saying, Sean.
I'm sure the next segment will be Jeff crying over Louisville going down the tank in college football.
We had to go there?
You think I'd miss a chance at that?
I haven't had enough bad couple weeks. It hadn't been bad enough that you have to bring up that. Man, that's terrible. Did Rummel win?
Rummel won 22-21 in Ullman against Jesuit. It was tight.
Sounds like a good game, yeah.
Yeah, it was a tight game against a big rival.
I did happen to notice, I think, was it Newman beat Riverside? Is that what we were talking? So it was a crazy weekend all around for football in this market, in this state, with LSU's victory. And like I said earlier, with the craziness going on in the NFL this year, I I think the Saints right now have to feel this thing's wide open and there for the taking because no one's run away with the pack. No one's run away with the division right now. They're like we said, they're basically in second place. And they're playing better football than anybody right now in the division. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
No doubt. Let's hit 2 more callers, and then we'll take a break here. I know I keep pushing the break, but want to get these callers in. Reggie in Dallas. Reggie, thanks for calling Dunc and Holder. What you got, Reggie?
Hey, what's up, fellas? It's a great morning out here in Dallas. Hey, I want to tell you, first of all, Marshawn Lattimore is a man, like straight up. This guy is amazing at cornerback. I'm talking about shut down. Every time they passed the ball to him, he batted it, got a pick. Whoever he checked, it was perfect coverage every time.
Oh, Reggie, don't downplay his ability to make tackles. Look, on that first drive, he shot in like a missile and made a tackle to kind of set up that sack fumble in the end zone, and then he makes the tackle 4th and goal to get the stop on turnover on downs. Huge play.
Dude, he is a player all around. We couldn't ask for a better weekend. With LSU Saints, then you got the Panthers lose, Tampa Bay lose, Atlanta got flashbacks from the Super Bowl.
They did.
It's the perfect weekend. See what else I want to say right quick. Squeeze it in. Oh, I know you probably talk about it later. Man, some of those fans or so-called fans, give the Saints a break. They didn't take a knee because of the fallen officer and stuff like that. And I know that's I saw some stuff on Twitter and Facebook. Man, they just they're trying to find something to be negative about, basically. They need to calm down, relax, enjoy these victories that we get. It's been 3 years since we've been over 500. Let's enjoy it. Let's get the Who Dat Nation riled up, get ready to go to Green Bay, and get another W.
All right.
Have a good morning.
All right, Reggie. Hey, you too. Appreciate the phone call. We will get to that topic let's do it in the next segment. But one more phone caller, and then we'll take a break. I promise. Martin in Dallas. Martin, man, it's Dallas everywhere.
Hey.
Appreciate the phone call, Martin.
Yeah, Dallas on the line this morning.
I was about to say, Zeke's out, and Saints fans are coming out and saying, guess what? We're in this thing.
Hey, man, this is what I wanted to say. I was watching the NFL. I called before. They was giving the Saints some love this morning on the NFL. Good morning, NFL, or whatever. With the guy called. The guy was there with Fox. But
yeah, Peter Schrager is on that show, and he did the sideline. Yes.
They playing football. All the other times, man, we will see teams batting Drew Brees balls, cornerback, linebacker getting it. And we know that in a football game, if you was 0-5, you're playing football. You're not coming in the game saying, oh, man, we 0-5. So each game is winnable. What the Saints are doing now, the Saints are playing football. Like Jeff was saying, they're playing fast. And it's been a while. The Saints wasn't always playing fast. Once the Saints play any football team playing fast like that, they're going to be in the game. So the Saints have a legitimate the Saints are pretty good, and I'm enjoying it. I haven't seen the Saints play like that since, 09, Super Bowl 11. They were really good.
13.
The guy called the Zero Blitz out there in 40 and out there in San Francisco, and the whole thing went south after that. But they was playing defense, to me, sort of that way, just kind of opportunistic and batting balls down. So this can get better. They can't eat the cheese. They jumped the Kool-Aid back in 12. So just looking forward to the Saints going to Green Bay and then, just playing football. No game is a gimme. And the Saints, Sean Payton and that staff, they know it's no gimme games. You're going up and you play football. You don't make mistakes. You'll be able to be up in there at the end of the game.
There you go, Martin. Right. All right, appreciate the phone call. Lots of optimism, rightfully so. Rightfully so.
What about going back to what Reggie said earlier? What about this stat from Pro Football Focus? I'm sure you saw it. Marshawn Lattimore allowed an NFL quarterback rating of 6.3 on throws into his coverage, and then they back that up by saying, and I don't quite understand this, if a quarterback were to throw the ball away instead of targeting Lattimore, he would have gotten a 39.5 quarterback rating. So by throwing at him, he's actually worse than just throwing the ball away and into the ground. I don't understand that, but it's impressive.
Exactly. when you can actually sort of compute that and put that into words, Yeah, absolutely. But no, let's take a break right here. When we come back, we will discuss our thoughts on the national anthem, the kneeling, the moment of silence for the fallen officer, the fans, all of it. We will talk about this coming up here next. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. We're Dunc and Holder.
Enjoy wines from around the world, great food, and the music
Justin
of Tanya
texts
Boyd Cannon and
texts
box
people
office giants.
at
That's the second
10:26.
annual Wine on the
Coach
River.
Payton conference
November
call will be at
11th
10:40.
Audubon Aquarium Plaza. Get your ticket at
How's that happen?
wineontheriver.NOLA.com. Presented by Southern Glazers, WGNO, and NOLA 38.
He must know when y'all are on the air.
Well, no,
He doesn't
well,
wanna talk
they
to
just
y'all.
text, all of the reporters.
It's crazy.
Oh, okay.
They're like, oh, yeah, here, you get, yeah. No one has a
Happy
clue.
Monday from
They
the
just
Fox
make
8
it up.
Weather
And they're like,
Center.
oh,
I'm
no, now it's time for them to
meteorologist
talk.
Shelby
15
Latino,
minutes,
and we're looking at
leeway.
temperatures in the mid-70s for the backside of a front. Cooler, drier air will be moving into the area. You'll notice those clouds clearing, giving way to more sunshine, and clear skies tonight will allow for some of the coolest air of the season. Temperatures falling into the upper 40s and low 50s on the North Shore, upper 50s and low 60s on the South Shore. From the Fox 8 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shelby Latino. Have a great day.
As a busy parent, taking your child's temperature shouldn't be as stressful as fighting through traffic. With the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer, one gentle scan of the forehead is all it takes. If only the commute were that easy. Pick one up at your local club warehouse or other fine retailers.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Louisiana is more than just a place to visit. It's our way of life, and that means being outdoors. Join the nearly 2 million people who camped, biked, paddled, and hiked our state parks last year. As we invite you to do the
Look,
same.
even LeBron
Every
James
corner
is
of
getting
Louisiana
on.
has something to
Adrian
offer. From
Peterson's
the
back.
world-class
Saints are
fishing
dumb.
to Toledo Bend to
Is that what he said?
Fountain
Well, no,
to
'cause they're
explore
like,
the
this-
ancient
it's-
mounds of
everybody
Providence
loves
and
him.
World Heritage Site.
Yeah.
Saw
Change
Todd
of
Gurley.
Scenery
Oh.
and staycation right here.
All right, 30 seconds.
Indiana.
It takes a lot to get
Hey, when should I
excited about a
break?
bag,
Like
but most
47?
bags can't save you 20%
48?
on auto.
Yeah, let's say 47.
Okay.
Foil filters, 20% off virtually anything you can fit inside the 99-cent Napa reusable bag. So tell your buddies, there's a bag they just have to check out. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa Know-How.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Minimum 3 items. Exclusions apply. Offer ends 10/31/17.
Learn what our insiders know about your home teams. Sports 1280 New Orleans.
Welcome back, Dunc and Holder. Alluded to this earlier in the show, and Reggie in Dallas brought up the topic, and this would have been a much larger topic had the Saints game been boring, had they have lost, and this would have been a topic that I feel like would have caught even more wildfire. But look, it's the most read story on our website, not my column on the Saints defense having some swag or Jeff saying, hey, NFL, pay attention to the Saints because they're coming after you. But no, it's what happened before the game. As we know, the Saints have protested, and they've done it, twice now before games. They did it in Carolina. They did it in London. And it's the first time they protested before a Saints game at home. So I think Saints fans were curious to see what was going to happen. Players got on one knee, locked arms. We've got photos of players. Not every player did it. I feel like it was half the players. I'm not sure, but it was a line of players kneeling. And look, one of them was Drew Brees. One of them was Dennis Allen. They were kneeling before the national anthem, and the PA announcer and the programming, it happened to be when they were asking for a moment of silence for fallen NOPD officer Marcus McNeil. And the fans booed the players for kneeling while they were asking for a moment of silence. And that caught wildfire immediately from both sides of the coin. And then the fans cheered when the players stood up. and then the national anthem played. So it happened quickly. So I'm not sure what to really make of this. All I know is that it was not a pretty scene from any point of view, in my opinion, Jeff, from this thing, because I honestly, and we didn't really talk to the players about this. That's probably our fault. We probably should have asked regardless of what happened in the game. And look, we probably need to do a better job because people want to know what's going on, what's going through their heads as far as the players. But I bet the players did not realize that they were going to honor Marcus McNeil at that point in time. That's just my gut feeling, just by knowing the players who were doing the protesting. I feel like they would not have done that if they knew that that was going to happen.
Yeah, it was bad timing. I mean, they had no idea that was going to happen. The PA announcer honoring the fallen NOPD officer, and unwittingly they were taking the knee. That this is the game plan that they have come up with. We've reported on it before. In unison, they're going to show solidarity by kneeling before the national anthem as a team, and then they're going to stand for the national anthem. I think it's a very well thought out, well reasoned way to address this situation as a team. I like it, but this was just unfortunate timing, and unwittingly Saints fans, and I agree with what Reggie said earlier, people are just looking for reasons to be upset with this entire thing. It's a very divisive situation, and the league is going to address it at the owners' meetings this week. The NFLPA and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell and his staff, and they've got to come up with something to move past this, because it is hurting, I think, the league's image, some of the players' image, and also, I think, costing them some support in ticket sales and maybe even sponsorship.
I also think it's kind of dividing the league. And here's the thing. I don't want to say that the fans were totally let me backtrack. The fans would have booed if it wasn't a moment of silence. And we would have just said, all right, we expected that. But the fact that they booed during the moment of silence for a fallen NOPD officer, that, and I got this on Twitter as the game was going on, people were angry, both sides. Oh, well, they're kneeling. But then I had people who were in the stands, they said we were trying to tell the people to stop booing because they're ruining this guy's moment of silence. And it's disrespectful that happened for the fallen officer. And so just the whole thing in general just turned ugly. And I just wish things would have turned out better, honestly. Do I think is this going to be a long-standing thing? No. And do I think people are going to agonize over this? No. But I could tell you, people on both sides are wondering what should have been done better. People on both sides should be wondering what can be done better in this situation, because this culminates at all. People can say, they don't understand why they're kneeling. They're doing this for a fallen officer. Oh, my gosh, this is terrible. And then on the other side of the coin, well, what are these fans doing screaming and disrespecting the moment of silence? Both sides, it just wasn't a pretty look.
Yeah, bad optics all the way around. Unfortunately, Saints players were victims of bad timing, and then I think it was kind of bad reaction from some of the fans. And look, it wasn't everybody.
No,
it's a divisive thing, but it would be nice to hear what some of the players had to say about it, because I'm sure they heard it. There's no question they heard it. And it was kind of just an awkward, unfortunate situation that should have been a moment of silence for a really tragic situation here in New Orleans.
Right. And I do think that some players, actually I do know, some players you could see them looking, turning their head and seeing the big screen and probably thinking, oh no, what's going on? And it was kind of a scurry, like hurry up, stand up. Oh my gosh, we don't know what to do, kind of a thing, because it was just bad timing. And I don't think I'm being a bad columnist here, but this is what I think. I don't think the fans wanted to be disrespectful to the officer. I don't think the players wanted to be disrespectful to the officer.
Right. Sometimes that's the way it is, and that's exactly what I agree 100%. I would have liked to have heard what some of the players said about it. But it was just such a crazy game and so many momentum swings and so many crazy plays that, frankly, we all forgot about what happened before the game. once we got down to the locker room because there was so much going through our minds about plays that happened during the game. And, I talked to 2 or 3 players that said they've never been involved in a game like that. And I can't remember one quite like that. I mean, the craziest game I've ever covered of significance was that 49ers-Saints playoff game.
Right.
I mean, that was just the fourth quarter alone. And it kind of was like that. There was a bunch of different – I think if I looked at the game book correctly, let me look real quick. I think one of the teams yesterday had 7 possessions in the fourth quarter. I think it might have been the Lions. No, the Saints had 7 possessions in the fourth quarter. The Lions had 6. That's insane. 7 series in one quarter.
I can remember the first game of the year, the Saints had 1 possession in the first quarter.
Right. No, it just shows you how crazy the game was.
Exactly. So just an unfortunate incident. And look, I just think that's where I'm going to put it. I think it's an unfortunate incident. I don't think either side was trying to disrespect the officer. And just, it stinks that it happened. But look, I think we can move past it. At least I hope we can. So when we come back, let's hear from some Saints players. Kenny Vaccaro, A.J. Klein, and Sean Payton's on his conference call right now saying he is happy to see Adrian Peterson do what he did against the Bucs. Imagine that. Look, so it's win-win for everybody here.
Yeah, actually the best game that Adrian Peterson's had for the Saints was when he played for the Cardinals yesterday. He did more damage for the Saints than he did as a Saint.
Hey. The Saints will take it. I'm sure Adrian Peterson will take it,
everything's going the Saints' way right now.
Absolutely.
Even their trades.
Absolutely. So come on back here. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. We're Dunc and Holder.
The second annual Wine on the River is Saturday, November 11th at Audubon Aquarium.
Is J-Mac
Plaza.
texting
Tickets
us?
on sale
Yeah.
now
What's
at
he asking?
WineOnTheRiverNOLA.com.
Oh, okay, Dave.
Hospitality.
The Saints are texting me about Corey
and NOLA 38
on the next episode of the Thrive Global
playing. Okay,
I'll just
Corey
send it to
Johnson
him.
played his commentary in the background of the call. I don't
conference call today.
I guess I don't know what's going on.
Truly
here.
relax. The Thrive Global
Why don't you
podcast
just
is now on iHeartRadio.com.
Send it
The
to
Thrive
Dave.
Global podcast
All right.
is
You know what I mean?
sponsored.
Forward that text.
What the heck?
I don't know. It's from the Saints PR guy.
I don't understand.
He's going to send it to you.
So wait, Corey's spot, one of his. I don't understand. What played where and how?
I don't know.
During the conference call with Sean Payton, which is going on right now, started at 10:40 with local reporters.
Right.
Somehow Corey Johnson must have got on there, and it's it's one of those things where you're on the conference call, they can hear you, and somehow his commentary got played on there from 1280. I don't know how.
What?
Somebody from 1280.
Conference call?
Yeah. While it was
How is
going
that
on.
even possible?
I don't know.
Maybe I ought to just give him Corey's number.
I mean, that's nuts.
Well, Corey could have been on. He could have been on the call and had his commentary on like his laptop, and it would be picked up if he had it playing on his laptop, and all the other reporters could hear. If he didn't know that it wasn't on mute. In other words, it's a live thing, so maybe he didn't know. I mean, they need to talk to Corey, not us or you.
Yeah, but I say what? Yeah, what?
Because he would be the only one that would be on there, right? Corey, that would only have his commentary.
I didn't. I'm shocked he was even
On the call, yeah.
On the call. Yeah. Oh shoot, coming back.
This is Dunc and Holder on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Welcome back. Dunc and Holder. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. Jeff, let's hear what A.J. Klein had to say after the game. You, me, and our own Josh Katzenstein from NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune had a chance to catch up with him, just ask about the wild nature of the game, about the defense, and since it was us three chums from NOLA.com, I just said, hey, why don't we play the whole 3-minute Q&A session right here on the show. And the first question, the question got cut off, but the first question is about the batted passes. And it's not just that they were batted passes. It's that there were 16 pass defenses in the game, and that's DBs, linebackers, defensive linemen. That stat is eye-popping. So that's the first question that's asked. So let's hear what A.J. Klein had to say about that and some of the other things that they had to say about the defensive performance in the big Saints win over the Lions.
I don't think we emphasized it during the week, but obviously it just goes with every week. You get more batted balls, more passes.
I'm just going to leave your mic hot and up, okay?
And I mean, you give up 38 points, not all defense, but they score 38 points. You guys come away with a win. You score 3 touchdowns. How do you ultimately evaluate a game like this?
I think we'll get the evaluation done when we watch the tape and we actually see what the outcome actually was on tape. I know there's things that we need to clean up probably on both sides of the ball, but we'll see that tomorrow when we get together and meet.
How do you handle like the situation where they come back, you're up 35, and then it's all of a sudden 7?
I think defensively, again, we just if we're on the field, we've got to get off and get the ball back to our offense, and they just need to sustain drives. So works hand in hand, and especially with the kicking game too. I know we give up a touchdown today on special teams, so obviously we have to be better in all phases. I know we gave up 38. What was it? 38? You said gave up 38, but we scored 52. So at the end of the day, a win's a win. But obviously there's ways we improve.
How good does it feel to be 3-2 after the way you guys started?
No, it feels great. It feels really good. We had a good bye week. Everybody's rested up. Everybody's ready to go. So now it's just continuing to build on the momentum that we have, and defensively, same thing. Continue to build on the plays that we've been making, and getting after the quarterback and create turnovers. So that's something we have to be ready to do next week up in Green Bay.
What about defensively? This isn't a one-week thing. I mean, you guys started playing well in Carolina, played well obviously in Miami, and now you come out here and 3 defensive touchdowns.
Yep.
You know, and as defense, you guys gave up like 24.
I think you can look at the numbers throughout the league statistically. I mean, if you score on defense, I mean your probability of winning goes way up. So the fact that we got 3, I don't think I've ever been a part of a team that we've scored 3 touchdowns in a game. I think it might have been once, and I was back in college. But I mean, if you score 3 touchdowns and you still lose, I mean that's almost unheard of. Right. So obviously it helped in our win today.
It's the first time in the history of the Saints they've scored 3 touchdowns.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's pretty neat. So like I said, it doesn't happen very often. So I'm definitely glad that we came away not only with the turnovers, but with the ability to score. I know Marshawn made a great play. Obviously, Cam made a great play, and then the sack fumble to start the game was huge. Great momentum starter for the game.
What's it like in a game like that where momentum is flying around back and forth? Can you feel it as a player?
Yeah, you can feel it as a player, but obviously it's staying focused on the task at hand, knowing that when you go out, no matter where the momentum is swayed, that you continue to do your job. And if you do your job and execute the defense like we did today, obviously that momentum will stand in our favor.
You guys batted down like a dozen balls today. Was there something he was...
And that's A.J. Klein here on after the game. And look, Kenny Vaccaro saying it's the first touchdown he scored in his life after this game because he's always playing defense. He said he never scored one in high school or college. I guess this is a game to where so many wild things happen, and that I don't want to call it a culmination because I'm sure they want to improve on this performance, even though they had a performance as a team of a lifetime as far as a defense. But they want to make this more of a regular thing, and you could just hear A.J. Klein. I think he's a guy who has command of the defense, gets people in the right spots, and he's one of the people who's a key contributor in those blitzing schemes because he's in there all the time, and he's making sure people are good on the back end, people are good in front of him, and you can't discount how critical it has been for him to be running this defense. And oh, by the way, Luke Kuechly, concussion again. They miss A.J. Klein in Carolina right now.
Yeah, it looks more and more. I mean, again, we're 5 games into the season, but it looks more and more like this is one of the better off seasons the Saints have put together. The front office has had a lot of criticism, rightfully so, the last few years with bad drafts, bad free agent signings. Looks like they got almost all of them right this offseason. So much so they were able to take a guy like Adrian Peterson that was a questionable signing and turn it into at least something and get something back for him. But A.J. Klein, Marshawn Lattimore, the draft pick, Ryan Ramczyk played really well at right tackle yesterday. We haven't really talked about the offensive line that much, but that is a key factor in why this team is so good. They are getting it done up front. There are not very many good offensive lines in this league. The Saints have one of the best, and I think you can make an argument that they are the best offensive line in the league right now.
Jeff, I was pointing out during the game to you, look where some of these big runs, the two biggest runs the Saints had in the game. Kamara had a 21-yard run. Mark Ingram had a 51-yard run. They both came around the left edge, and that's because Teron Armstead is over there helping to get it done. And look, Andres Pete at left guard, 30. You put him back at left guard, and he looked pretty good yesterday.
Yeah, the offensive line is playing very, very high level right now.
Absolutely. Hour number 1 is up. 20. Hour number 2 is on the way. We'll hear from Kenny Vaccaro, his thoughts after the big Saints win 52-38 over the Lions. We'll hear from Coach O, his thoughts on the LSU win over Auburn. We'll take a look at the scope of the rest of the NFL and touch a little bit on Tulane. So come up next, Sports 1280, NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app. Dunc and Holder.
9,997.
Dougie Fresh? I think it was.
No, that was Digital Underground.
Thomas Edison had given up.
9,998. I don't have anything to do with that.
This is a classic example.
But his failures only led him to the next idea.
9,999.
Picture Times Square, dim, Las Vegas, dark, your home, black.
Yeah.
Picture no electric light.
10,000.
I'm just going to be like, here's Corey's number.
Optimism. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better
That's
Life.
as far as I'm going. I don't even.
I was 11 years old at my first national championships. I fell, I don't know how many times.
Michelle Kwan is the most decorated figure skater in U.S. history.
But I had a dream. My dream came true because I dedicated myself.
Dedication made Michelle Kwan a champion.
I was passionate about something, and I made sure that I worked hard for it.
And dedication can make your dream reality.
Whatever your dream and goals are, they can come true.
Dedication. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
WODT WNOE FM HD2 New Orleans. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app. Search Sports 1280.
Well, I'm curious what his editorial was on.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
A grievance
I have no idea what
collective bargaining agreement claiming
I don't know.
collusion is what is keeping him out of the league. Meanwhile, Vikings quarterback Teddy Bridgewater has been cleared to practice for the first time since tearing up his knee in August 2016. And Buccaneers quarterback Jameis Winston is having the MRI today after suffering a shoulder injury in Sunday's loss to the Cardinals. College football news, Alabama remains atop the AP poll, receiving all 61 first-place votes. Penn State moves up to number 2. Georgia, TCU, and Wisconsin round out the top 5. Clemson falls 5 spots to number 7 after losing to Syracuse. And Washington, which was number 5 last week, is now 12th after losing to Arizona State. Tonight, Game 3 of the ALCS, Yankees hosting the Astros. Houston with a 2-0 series lead. I'm Deb Carson.
We are Buckmore. It's the second annual Wine on the River, presented by Southern Glazers, WGNO TV ABC, and NOLA 38, the CW. Join us Saturday, November 11th at Audubon Aquarium Plaza. Tickets on sale now for only $49, so get your tickets today. Enjoy wines from around the world, great food, and live entertainment. Buy your tickets today online at wineontherivernola.com. Proceeds benefit the Louisiana Hospitality Foundation.
If you or a loved one suffer from depression, this message is for you. Over 16 million Americans battle depression, yet fewer than half respond to their first prescription, leading to a frustrating cycle of trial and error. There's a better way. Genetic tests can help predict which treatments will be most effective. Studies show that when providers use genetic testing to guide treatment, patients are twice as likely to respond to their medication. For more information, talk with your doctor and ask for a test. This public service announcement has been brought to you by GeneSight and this station.
iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. And now, with football season in full swing, let's be honest, most of your week is focused on your fantasy team or teams. No reason to leave the iHeartRadio app, because now we have the Fantasy Sports Radio Network. 24/7 interactive fantasy talk and advice so you can dominate your league. Get your fantasy football fix right on the app. Fantasy Sports Radio Network.
Nothing changes America like a role model.
I had one growing up. My name is John Hope Bryant. I wear a suit today because my dad wore a suit when I was growing up. But want to be rap stars, athletes, and drug dealers all too often because that's what they see in their neighborhood. My mission now is to give them something different to see, and you play a role in it. It's called America 2020 and Hope Business in a Box Academies. Go to OperationHope.org today and join the movement to make school cool once again. Visit us on the web at OperationHope.org.
I've always wanted a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor?
Hi, neighbor. Mr. Rogers passed along friendship in his neighborhood, hoping we would do the same. So let's get started. Friendship. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
I'm a college student and could use advice about my student loan.
I had to leave school, but I still have student loans to pay back.
I graduated and got the help I needed to pay back my loan in full.
We're the NFCC, the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, with member offices nationwide that provide comprehensive financial reviews and student loan counseling. Call 877-406-6322 or visit us online at studentloanhelp.org.
There's a season for everything. And right now, it's save up to 30% on appliances season at the Home Depot with special buys on innovative appliances that do more. Like a Maytag top freezer refrigerator with extra deep door bins to free up shelf space. It's just $498.
So the Vikings just beat Green Bay, and now Bridgewater's cleared
Savings
to
are in
return to
season
practice.
with up to 30% off appliances at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Get on a
It
run.
could be the
favorite in
for
the
details.
North, right? Because
We all
it's kind of
used
wide
to like
open
Pandora
now.
before they started interrupting the music.
Detroit can get their act
30
together.
seconds.
Yep.
Maybe we can
Detroit
do
can get
better
their
than
act
Pandora
together
with our iHeartRadio app.
back
And now
into
we
it.
have Open iHeartRadio. Type
Yeah,
in
you
an
know,
artist
Mike
love
Rothstein
and
made a
let
good point, though.
iHeartRadio
It
build you
might
a station
have
with
been a
all
little
that artist's
overrated because,
best
like,
music and songs
when they beat
we've
the Falcons,
handpicked
everybody
to
was
make
like,
your
oh, I mean, they
perfect
lost the
station.
Falcons.
And
The
with
Falcons might not be any
iHeartRadio, you
good.
get more
10.
Okay, we're going to play Vaccaro stuff
Try
here.
it today. All your favorite stations, all free.
Dunc and Holder, hour number 2 on a Monday, October 16th, as we're live from our NOLA.com Times Picayune Studios, 32nd floor, high atop Canal Place at the foot of Canal Street. And Jeff, I'm sure Saints fans are high on life. I'm sure LSU fans are high on life. But just real quickly, Tulane. Man, oh man.
Man.
They had the chance to be taken seriously. I'm not saying the season's over, but they had a chance to be taken real seriously. And they're a 2-touchdown favorite. They go down to Miami and lose 23-10 in a game where it's almost like Tulane wasn't in it. It was very reminiscent of the Army game as far as time of possession, and yet Tulane couldn't put together a fourth quarter drive where you convert on 3 fourth downs, and they weren't even giving themselves an opportunity. And that is a game where you could have built big time momentum going into South Florida. Look, do I still think it's going to be a festive atmosphere at Ullman Stadium Saturday? Sure. But this is a game, if you want to be taken seriously, you've got to win. And it's almost that they just kind of came out flat after 2 big games, high on life, and it didn't. They couldn't translate it on the road. And a team that they should have beaten.
They really validated my column of saying that they might be the best college football team in the state. I appreciate that, Green Bay.
Take from Jeff.
I think I heard a few times about that over the weekend from LSU fans, and rightfully so. I mean, that was an embarrassing performance. You can't do that. We asked Todd Graffinini about this last week. You've had a little success. It's a young program. You got some young players. You win 2 games in a row. Now you go on the road and play a game against a team you should beat. That's a classic opportunity for a letdown. And clearly they had it. They didn't show up. There's no way that they should only score 10 points on that team, which has struggled very, very easily, could have been winless on the season. They barely beat Rice, barely beat Charlotte, which is one of the worst teams in all of FBS. That's a huge setback for Coach Fritz and the program. And now trying to get to 6 wins and get bowl eligible is going to be very difficult. They've got South Florida coming in this week, unbeaten, a top 25 team. I'm sure they're going to play a lot better, but they might play very well and lose that game.
Right. They'd have to play very well regardless if they won that game. But I'll just throw some numbers at you and just kind of show where it's just that Tulane fell flat. Look, FIU 438 yards, Tulane 239. This is total yards I'm talking about. Let's see. Time of possession, FIU 3650. Tulane only had 2310. And Tulane only threw the ball 36 yards, as opposed to FIU was as balanced as you can get. 220 through the air, 218 on the ground. Tulane had 213 yards rushing, but you're expecting the Tulane to have big rushing yardage. But look, it's a letdown. They were 2 of 11 on third down. Big letdown. And look, I'm curious to see if they can jump back to life when they take on South Florida. Easily their biggest game of the year. Even after that game, this is the biggest game of the year, especially at home.
Yeah, South Florida's got it going. I mean, Willie Taggart basically got the Oregon job because of the rebuilding job that he did down in Tampa. They're the class of the American Athletic Conference. And, look, it's a big home game. Tulane's got a lot of activities on campus built up for this game. I would argue it would have been the biggest. If they would have won on Saturday, it would have been the biggest home game they've had at Ullman Stadium since the opener against Georgia Tech to open the stadium, and maybe even bigger than that because it's a conference game. But big letdown, and I'm sure a huge disappointment for everybody at Tulane. And these are the kind of games you have to avoid when you're building something. And they couldn't do it, so they've still got work to do out on Willow Street. And it's very similar to what we were talking about here earlier today about the Saints. I mean, the Saints are in a very similar position. They're feeling good about themselves. They've won a few games in a row. Now they go on the road, play a team that's missing a quarterback. That feeds into your psyche a little bit, and that's what Sean Payton and his staff have to guard against this week.
Well, is it 24-hour rule yet? No, so they could still celebrate. They could still feel good about themselves.
No, Cam Jordan was actually talking about that. He said it'll be about, 3 or 4? He was trying to calculate it in his head. I can celebrate till 3 or 4 o'clock tomorrow. I mean, it was a long game.
Absolutely.
We were,
about 3:50 actually. Because that game lasted about 3 hours and 50 minutes. It was one of the longer games we've had to deal with. At least it's just regulation game. Yeah.
As sports writers, I mean, we like to complain. That's just part of our nature.
We're all
press box
crusty.
Too cold. The food's not good. And, of course, we complain about the length of games because that makes our day go longer. And that was unbelievably long. There were games, other noon games, that had been over for an hour before the Saints game got over.
At least we can't complain about the intrigue and the interesting storylines in the game and after the game, just because there was plenty to write about, plenty of intrigue, and a new storyline. They're 3-2, 500 for the first time since 2013. No more complaints. It's a new story. It's a new day, Jeff. It's a new year. It's a new half-decade, honestly. A new half-decade.
We can complain. We complain about everything. The powdered eggs in the Superdome press box. Can we talk about that? Here we live in one of the greatest culinary cities in the world, and the press box food is the worst. And it's not just for us. In my opinion, you got these national writers that come in, other writers from all over the country, and they get powdered eggs and bad sausage. It has nothing to do with New Orleans. It's not showing off of our culinary skills. It's not showing off the great food and chefs we have here. It's terrible. All right, I'm on my rant. I'm off my soapbox.
You done?
Yes.
I'll just put it to you this way. Kenny Vaccaro was talking about Popeyes on Twitter after the game, and I went and ate Popeyes, and it was his fault.
You got a hankering?
Yes, I got a hankering.
Popeyes
Thanks
sticks.
to Kenny Vaccaro.
You got a Popeyes Jones, I should say.
Absolutely.
It happens.
Because the defense was spicy, and they wanted to be spicy. It was something like that on Twitter. So Kenny Vaccaro should be the new Popeye spokesman. He got me to eat it. But let's hear from Kenny Vaccaro a couple of some of his thoughts. Because, look, Kenny Vaccaro, just think about this. And he joked. Of course, Kenny, we've talked to him all the time for years and years. We can't complain about him. Very open to the media. Talks win, loss, benching, whatever. he talks. And so we appreciate that. And he joked, look, you guys only come up to me when we're no, you guys are coming up to talk to me now that I'm not benched. And, of course, he's just, like, chuckling. He's like, I know you guys come up.
Hey, real quick before we go to the audio, I don't know if anybody noticed this. I don't know if you noticed it. I didn't talk to you about it yesterday in the press box, but when he picked up that fumble late in the fourth quarter, it was a big play, and then got hit, and I think he fumbled it again, and Lattimore picked it up. Did you notice Sean Payton ran on the field and congratulated Vaccaro, gave him like a high five, very emotional Sean Payton. I thought that was interesting.
I did notice that, but it kind of just slipped through my head. But I did notice he definitely came and like slapped him on the back, saying like, "Awesome job."
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's him reinforcing Kenny Vaccaro's good play, just as he was reinforcing his bad play by benching him earlier this season. It just shows you like that's good coaching. You coach them hard, and players respond.
Yeah, and I think Vaccaro and heck, everyone's responding. Everyone on that defense. So let's hear a couple of thoughts from Kenny Vaccaro. And then we'll go to break here in a few minutes. I know Glenn and Mandeville, I know you're on the line, but we'll get to you in a couple minutes. So just hang tight or give us a call back. But here's Kenny Vaccaro on the overall defensive performance in yesterday's win against the Lions.
It was good. I still think at the end of the day we gave up too many points. We got to hold our standard high if we want to change the culture around here. The D-line did a good job of getting good rush the whole game, batting down passes. It was just rushing covers the whole game. When they threw the ball, we were optimistic. When they held the ball, D-line got there. So, I mean, we played together. It felt good. It felt good being out there. The vibe felt different, like something I haven't felt before.
And the vibe feeling different. And I kind of waited for a lot of the reporters to walk away because I wanted to hear what he had to say. So Dave, we're going to go down a list a little bit here, but I asked him, he brings up the vibe's different, something he hadn't felt around there in a long time. So I asked him, what is this vibe that you haven't felt in a while? Let's hear what he had to say.
Just taking the ball away, scoring on defense. Y'all been here. We don't do that stuff. We haven't done that around here. I mean, have we? It's been a while. It don't look like that. Like there's no like we're wild. We're taking pictures of DB. You saw us out there like we're having fun. It just hasn't been that way because when you're giving up all these yards and not taking the ball away and you're on the field 24/7, you're so tired. You don't even want to celebrate. But we're just out there having fun.
Is it because this isn't just a 1 week thing? I mean, it's the past 3 weeks you guys have played.
I mean, people were keep saying, "Oh, they did it against this offense," and we're just gonna keep working. I mean, until we stack 12 games in a row where it's like, okay, they're changing something around here. And I mean, we got a lot to clean up. There's a lot on this film that we need to clean up. But when you get takeaways and turnovers like that, it looks sweet. It feels sweet.
And look, I think Kenny, even when the Saints had a good defense in 2013, he even knows that the first half of that season they were taking the ball away. The second half of that season, takeaways kind of drifted away. And so the defense, yeah, they had great numbers, but say that second half of the year when probably the only good defense he's played on, they weren't taking the ball away like that. Now that they're playing well, and it's because they're taking the football away, not just getting stops and kind of just hanging in there.
Yeah, no, the thing I like about Vaccaro, I've always liked about him, I think every journalist likes candid responses and honesty. And he's honest. I mean, he's saying, look, we were awful for a while. I mean, he's not sugarcoating it. And but they're having fun right now, and you can see it. I mean, there's just a swagger that they're playing with. There's a confidence. They've really found something in these two young corners. We knew Lattimore had that great potential. I don't think anybody saw King Crawley coming. I mean, this guy started the season on the inactive list, and now he's won a starting job. And you and I were talking off air before we came on the program. When Delvin Breaux comes back, I don't think he's going to unseat King Crawley. Not the way he's playing right now. I think you got to ride these two young corners because they're playing so well and work Delvin Breaux into the mix maybe as the nickelback or whatever they do. P.J. Williams is playing there right now. But the cornerback situation is really, I think, the root of why they're playing good on defense because they're holding their coverage longer. You mentioned it. It's giving Dennis Allen more confidence to send blitzes. They're one of the most heavily blitzing teams in the league, and they're being successful with it.
Yeah, it's funny that Sean Payton, I asked about blitzing after the game, and he kind of just kneeled me, and that's okay. He was just having fun with me. He's like, he's like, nah, they didn't he's blitz as much as maybe I thought. He said, we even sent some 3-man rushes, and he's like, I don't want to write your story for you, and of course people chuckled. but they blitzed more than they ever have this season. They blitzed, according to Pro Football Focus, 56% of the time, and it's steadily increased each week. They blitzed a lot against Cam Newton. They blitzed even more against Jay Cutler, and they blitzed 56% of the time against Matt Stafford. And that goes, it's hand in hand, rush and coverage, and you're seeing it. And that's a big reason why the Saints are now 3-2. Let's hear what Kenny Vaccaro had to say about recovering the touchdown early in the game to really kind of set the tone. So here's Kenny Vaccaro on his TD fumble recovery.
Yeah, well, it's crazy because Alex told me before the play that I'm going to go make a big play. I was like, well, I'm trying to beat you to the big play. And ended up he knocked the ball out, and the ball was right there. I just jumped on it. I mean, he did the work. I was just fortunate enough. God put me in the right place at the right time on that play.
When's the last time you scored a touchdown in football?
It's never. That's the first time in my life.
Ever?
Not in college, high school,
Nothing. Ever.
Wow.
Ever. I'm happy.
Here's Kenny Vaccaro on having won 3 games in a row.
It's good, man. Like I said, we need to get on a streak. I said this when we were 0-2. When you start stacking these dubs, we got a young team, and confidence is key. And I think when you start stacking wins, guys get confident. They start playing better. The vibe's better. When you walk to the facility, you're happier. You want to do more for the team. That's how it was my rookie year. And it's only 3. We got to like 5 or 6 before we lost. So we got to keep it going.
And Kenny Vaccaro mentioned having fun, and I wrote about that as lead of my column, having fun. Look, they all got around and started taking pictures, and Cam Jordan's like, look, these are my dogs in the backyard at a barbecue. Basically, when they come in, you got to take a picture and have a good time, and they did that a few times. Look, here's Kenny Vaccaro on just the team having a good old time, having fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, when you're forcing turnovers, getting off the field, it's been a while since I've been a part of that. I mean, since my rookie year, we've got the turnover. And really, even in 2013, we didn't get the turnovers like that. We got mainly sacks. But now that we're taking the ball away, it's something that I haven't really been a part of since I've been here.
And look, 3-2 above 500. The last time the Saints were above 500, Kenny Vaccaro was a rookie. And so, yeah, he hasn't seen it in a while. He's been here since 2013. So here's Kenny Vaccaro on the Saints finally being above 500.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we don't want to be a yo-yo team. I mean, since I've been here, it's win 1, lose 1, win 2, lose 3 in a row, you know? So for us to be 3 wins in a row, I think it's big, but you're only as good as your next win. So, I mean, we got to prepare and get ready for the next win.
And here's Kenny on just the nature of this being a wild game.
It was wild. And we almost did everything we can to let them back in it. But at the same time, I was proud of the way the defense still kept getting turnovers. Because, you know, usually when you get in a 45-10 game, we kind of back off, play a little more zone. Lord, just don't let them score anymore, right? But we kept that aggressive mentality. DA did a good job of calling plays where we could still be playmakers. And we were able to create, 2 or 3 more turnovers within those last couple drives. So it helped.
It helped, to say the least. Without all of those touchdowns, this game might not have been won by the Saints. It's amazing to me that that's the way this team's going. We kept saying, look, the defense looked a little better in the preseason. Of course, we didn't want to be fooled. And then they came out flat the first 2 weeks, made a couple of switches. Specifically, look, Ken Crawley, Marshawn Lattimore was hurt. He comes back. And I think they're kind of getting their mix as far as how to blitz. So, yeah. I think you were starting to see it.
They're +6 right now. Giveaway takeaway ratio that's tied for 4th in the league. That's a recipe for a successful season.
Absolutely. So Saints 3-2. So come on back. We'll get your phone calls involved. 504-260-1280. We'll also hear from Coach O, Ed Orgeron, his thoughts after the LSU Auburn win, and we'll kind of take a look at the landscape of the rest of the NFL because guess what? The Saints are the only team this week to win in the NFC South, and this league has been as unpredictable as I think anyone could have even imagined coming up this season. So come on back, Sports1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. We're Dunc and Holder.
My name is Rob, I got a real funky concept. Listen up, because I'm going to keep you in step.
Jaws shit.
All right.
The reality about LSU is
I've cracked.
Glenn hung up.
Okay, that's fine. I've cracked the issue with the Saints. They were hearing Corey's commentary
That's done. New Orleans.
being recorded in the background or something, and I'm
right
like,
now, it's save up
okay,
to 30% on appliances
you realize he
season at the
records
Home
those
Depot
commentaries
with special
for
buys on innovative
WGNO, right?
appliances that do more.
So it was probably someone at WGNO
Your clothes get
TV
cleaner without
trying to record the call.
And they had Corey in the background
Yes.
recording his thing.
Yes.
Ah. Ding, ding,
Good
ding.
I'm not a super slip for nothing. And then Justin from the Saints is like, okay, that's fair. So I was like, you might, because Corey would not be recording now.
That's classic
Yeah, I mean,
Saints PR though. Full scale, Category 5 meltdown.
And then it's like, let me talk about it for a second.
Wait a second. False alarm.
Right, call WGNO.
Right. That's funny, man.
Exactly.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure they don't give Corey those phone numbers or those heads up because, well,
No, they don't.
It's Corey.
Well, that's what he was complaining about. He said, Corey hasn't requested
Oh,
cover
what
being a
bothered
game
me
for 5
though,
years, but
but what bothered me is you said call Corey and he said no. Get to the bottom of it.
Virtually anything you can fit
I'm sure
inside
Corey'd be like,
the
I have no
99
idea what you're talking about. That's why I was like, I don't know what's going on.
There's a bag they just
And
have
so
to
then
check
he
out.
kind of went through it, and I'm
Helpful
like,
people. That's
oh.
Napa Know-How. At participating Napa
So I
Auto
was
Parts stores
like,
while supplies last.
he
Minimum 3 items.
spelled out
Offer ends
more
10/31/17.
clearly what the issue was, and I'm like, he's doing a commentary on Puerto Rico and Trump or monologue, and I'm like, dude, those are his things for WGNO. Like, has nothing to do with
Can
us.
rent their apartment for up to 180
He's like,
nights a year on Airbnb. The location will have keyless doors and long-term storage for tenants to more easily rent out their units
So here's an
while they're
interesting
away.
stat we were
Airbnb
talking about in the
faced criticism.
YouTube.
Hey, we got
live.
David in Vegas.
David in Vegas, guys.
The Saints got 5
Nintendo
first
is
downs
moving away from its
on their second
family-friendly
drive
image
of
to
the
take
second
on
half.
PlayStation and
They
Xbox
scored a
for
touchdown on that
hardcore
drive. I don't know
gamers.
which touchdown it
Game
was.
maker is looking to extend the
And
appeal
then
of its
did not get another
handheld
first
hybrid
down the
console,
rest
Switch, which
of
has
the
gotten
half.
off to a strong start
The
since
rest of
its
the game.
introduction in March.
Holy cow! They went
Friendly games due out
1,
soon
2,
are Knights
3,
of
4,
Azure
5,
2,
6,
Shinobi
7,
Rebel,
8
and Doom.
drives without a
Sprint
first
is out with
down,
a new safe
2
and foul
turnovers,
app that
and
alerts
6
when family
punts.
members arrive at
So they
or
got all
leave
their
designated areas
all their
like
first
home or
downs on one
school.
drive.
You can see where your family is in
So they
real
opened the
time,
game with
send
all
an
these
SOS
first
with your
downs, and then they-
location in the event of an
Well, they went
emergency
to,
and
let's just
lockdown
preserve
who
the
calls your
lead
family
mode.
members.
All right, coming back.
I don't necessarily blame
Tech
them.
Report.
But
Larry
yeah,
Olson,
it's just kind of amazing.
Yeah,
Radio.
yeah.
Come on, man. And with the local DBC news, LL Cool J with the Trail.
This is Dunc and Holder on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Yeah, they've been here for years, 7 and 9 for years, but you can call it a comeback. Come on, you gotta call it a comeback.
LSU, you call it a comeback.
Well, the Saints overall, it's a comeback too. Come on, man.
From 0-2 for sure.
Well, yeah, they've been there for years, 7 and 9, 7 and 9, 7 and 9.
But I wrote today, I mean, this does not look like a 7 and 9 team.
No, it doesn't. No.
I liked how Vaccaro called it a yo-yo team.
Yeah, you know what?
Maybe that was his Ogeron impression.
I believe
Yo-yo.
a Duncan yo-yo team. You know, the Duncan family are the greatest inventors and sellers of yo-yos. Just a little trivia for you there.
I've heard of Duncan yo-yos. I had the butterfly and the little yo-yo with like a little jewel within it, like
yes,
a
the
snake.
Imperial, the Duncan Imperial. That's the famous yo-yo.
Well, Matt Stafford holdered yesterday. Did you see that throw? So held the ball, and the ball like trickled out of his hand, and I just looked. I said, yeah, "Bro, from fellow quarterback to fellow quarterback, I've been there before."
Yeah, you have. It was very holder-like, and that first sack in the end zone by Okafor. I mean, you got to get the ball out. I mean, no, not taking anything away from the Saints, but that's on Matt Stafford. He's got to get the ball out. Good coverage by the Saints led to that, but Drew Brees gets that ball out. He's getting the ball out at 2.4 seconds. That's why one of the reasons why he's not getting sacked very often.
Yeah, and there's a stat I just saw from the ESPN NFL matchup crew. You know, they, of course, study tape like machines. And Drew Brees is the second least sacked quarterback in the NFL, or second least blitzed quarterback in the NFL so far. I think they don't want to get beat by the blitz, so they don't blitz him that much. They said he's only been blitzed 31 times. The next one is Marcus Mariota, and look, he even missed the game. So Drew Brees is the least blitzed quarterback in the NFL. I think Pro Football Focus has kind of said the same stats before. But look at this. Matt Stafford is the second most blitzed quarterback in the NFL this year with 85. I guarantee you this game helps that number because the Saints blitzed him like crazy.
Here's one other stat that we can talk about this on another show. I know we want to get to a caller, but this was a fascinating stat. Drew Brees is getting rid of the ball at 2.24 seconds, second fastest in the league. When holding onto the ball for more than 2.5 seconds, however, Brees has an NFL quarterback rating of 21.8. His quarterback rating when throwing over 2.5 seconds from snap is second worst in the league, behind only the Browns' Kevin Hogan. So you know what that indicates to me? That he's not a creator. He does not create plays on the run like Aaron Rodgers does. He's a programmed quarterback. When the system calls for this, he goes through his progressions. But when it breaks down and he has to make something on his own, that's not Drew Brees' strength.
Well, oftentimes he doesn't have to do it.
No, most of the time he doesn't. But it's just interesting that, and we've seen it just anecdotally. When you're in the press box, and fans, I'm sure you've seen it, when he starts double pumping, nothing good happens for Drew Brees. When things are going well, you've watched enough of him, the ball comes out quick, he's decisive, and the ball's on point. But when he's back there kind of patting the ball, double clutching, usually something bad happens.
Well, the first pick, he was stumbling into the pocket because things were kind of breaking down, and he kind of threw it up to grabs. We got a question on Twitter just asking the ruling on the interception. Look, I'm guessing they're saying Lions had possession of the ball. I don't know. But it was almost like Michael Thomas had to try to save an interception because that ball looked like it was going to be picked from the throw. And so the fact that it was even close to not being one, you at least got to try to give Michael Thomas credit for coming back to the football. But yeah, hey, Drew Brees, it's a good thing that they don't have to lean on him every game. It's a good thing.
For once, yes.
Right, exactly. And even he could be bummed by his performance. It's a good thing that you don't have to lean on him to win every game. That's good because there are going to be games where he's going to win them for you, and you don't have to do it every week.
No, I think that's one of the biggest differences in this team is that they can win a game with their defense now. Their special teams are contributing. The running game's contributing. They can win games in other ways, and they've done it the last few weeks. 20-0 with a shutout. Now they win a shootout.
Absolutely. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. David in Las Vegas. Hey, David, thanks for hanging on. Appreciate the phone call. What you got, buddy?
Larry and Jeff, pleasure to be on with you today.
You got it. Thanks for calling.
Absolutely. I tell you what, it was a great game. I thought the first half we were just smoking them. I mean, we were just beating them down, and then things kind of didn't go as planned in the second half. I thought the interception or questionable interception with Lattimore and I don't know who the DB was. When they came down, they kept replaying it, and it looked like Thomas had it, but when they got to the ground, the guy snagged it. That's what it looked like when they kept doing the replay.
Who was it, Quinn or Slay? I'm forgetting who it was. Who was
Slay?
It was Slay, yes. Yeah, it was Darius Slay on that play. Yeah, it was. Look, it was a bang-bang call. Here's the thing. If it would have been called a catch, you're not overturning that. So you were going to stick with what the call was on the field.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, we made some mistakes at the second half. I'm just hoping we can get this cleaned up and we can fix that, and I think we will. The team looks good right now. We just got to keep going, doing what we're doing. My question is though, on some of these players that like Navarro Bowman. There was some talk, I guess, that the Saints were in play to get him last week. And now he's a pending free agent. He's a free agent right now, and supposedly he may make a visit to the Saints this week if he doesn't get a contract with one of the other teams he's visiting. And then I heard that Kakaha may be on the market. And then do you think Vaccaro, as good as he's playing, you think he's still an option to be traded? Where do you see some of these players? What do you think is going to happen with that? And Green Bay, we can't let off the gas. We got to go in there and show we're for real and win that game.
Hey, David.
I'll talk to you guys later this week.
All right, appreciate the phone call as always. You had a bunch of questions there, and so let me try to go through them. Look, Navarro Bowman, a couple of reports about how the Saints were in line to trade for him. Then he backed off because Bowman wanted to take some visits, and the Saints could be in line for him. It sounds like Oakland's the favorite, but at Pro Football Talk last night, I know said that they might visit the Saints and they might know something by Wednesday. I'm not surprised at them. They're light at linebacker, and so if they can go get a guy that they're familiar with, they've played against Bowman enough, and if he's a free agent and you don't have to take on any kind of big salary, I think that's a plus. But I'm not totally sure if they're going to go get him. Haole Kikaha, that was a name that Ian Rappaport threw out there. I'm assuming teams may be calling the Saints for him, or look, the Saints might say, hey, look, we're getting some good play out of Trey Hendrickson. We're getting some good play out of Alex Okafor. Maybe they're shopping him around. I don't know. I know people like to discredit Ian Rappaport, but he's not making that up. He's hearing that from somewhere. And then I forget what the other question was, Jeff. I've lost my train of thought.
He had a lot of different questions there.
Right.
I think the Saints have always been high on Navarro Bowman. I know Sean Payton's always talked glowingly about him as a player. He's a veteran guy. I think there's going to be a lot of teams that show interest in him. He's been in San Francisco his entire career, so he probably would like to just stay in the Bay Area. At that stage, guys, I think they look for good fits. I wouldn't rule it out by any means, because I think the way the Saints are trending right now might be attractive to him, especially after having played on some bad 49ers teams the last couple of years, and the Raiders have lost 4 in a row. I mean, they're bailing water out there. So I wouldn't discount the Saints, and I could see him fitting in well with this defense.
Oh, and it's Kenny Vaccaro he asked about. I think he's not going anywhere now. He's playing well, and they're going to ride this thing out. Is he going to get a contract this season? No. That's going to have to play out in the offseason because his deal's up after this year. But, yeah, I think any of the trade around that's probably gone out the window because they're playing better, and they've kind of figured it out. Let's take one more phone caller, and then we'll take a break here on Dunc and Holder. Josh in Sacramento. Josh, thanks for hanging on. Appreciate the call. What you got, Josh?
Thanks, guys, for taking my call. Good win yesterday. I'm kind of sort of a pessimist when it comes to things. The one thing I did notice during that game, and I think Sean Payton was probably going to give the league an earful, is just the officiating in that game was pretty horrible.
Josh, when you had to see Jeff Triplett was on the call, you knew this was going to be a poorly officiated game. You knew it. His reputation, he has one because it's bad. It's bad.
It was horrible because it literally went from one half to like hardly any penalties. We're not a team that get penalized a lot. But then he started nitpicking, like, oh, the lineman's not lined up exactly where he should be. It's like it's an extra point. It's not going to make that much of a difference. And then he flagged him again. So it was like, are you serious? And then every special teams play, there was a flag. That kind of really annoyed me. So I think, the league's got to do something about that because the referees basically gave the Lions every opportunity to come back in the game because of all the penalties. And penalties are just a game or just a killer for us because we're a rhythm-based offense. And I noticed every time we got a penalty, that killed the drive. That was like, nope, not happening. This drive, might as well punt the ball away. And the other thing I kind of wonder is, again, the Saints. I want to know who's in charge of personnel and deciding who's going to be inactive and who to play who. Because, again, I feel like Muhammad Wilkerson, he's sitting there inactive.
You mean Al-Qadim Muhammad?
Greg Robertson.
Al-Qadim Muhammad, you mean?
Oh, yeah, Al-Qadim Muhammad, yeah. Yep. And just it's annoying because I feel like he can contribute so much. He's so young. He's got a lot of talent. And it's like he's got to be better than Trey Hendrickson. So I feel like, again, we have yet another player that needs to be playing, and he's sitting there inactive like Ken Crawley was. We're playing Devontae Harris. It just frustrates me. I'm trying to figure that out.
Hey, Josh,
take my call, guys.
There you go. Appreciate the phone call. I can get on board with some of your things. I'm not going to get on board with replacing Muhammad with and getting Hendrickson out because I think Hendrickson played pretty well this game.
A couple batted balls, right?
Yeah, and look, he had a sack against who was it? Was it Cam Newton?
Yes.
Yes, he had a sack against him. So, and he's not playing every down.
Right. He's a situational pass rusher. Now, here's what I would say to Josh's point. Maybe there's some validity to the report that they're interested in maybe moving Kikaha because they have confidence in Muhammad. They're seeing something in practice. They like Hendrickson, so maybe they're willing to move Kikaha to open up some playing time.
That might be it because you're only playing Muhammad 8 or 9 snaps a game, and they're going to be in clear pass rushing situations. So you're right. That might be
maybe
something
part
there.
of it. So. And then, just real quick, 20 penalties called by Triplett's crew yesterday, 13 on the Saints.
That's obnoxious.
It's crazy. I mean, and you're right. You can't get into a flow. And Josh is right about that. This offense doesn't work well when it gets behind the chains. They have not been behind the chains much at all this year because they're running the ball better.
Right, and look, I think the crew in London were throwing. Remember, that game was penalty littered and obnoxious too. And yeah, I think Peyton rightfully probably has some things to complain about to the league. So let's take a quick break right here on the show. When we get back, we will hear from Ed Orgeron. Big win, of course, LSU beating Auburn. And if you want to jump in the show, still got some time. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved here on Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. We're Dunc and Holder.
Here's the thing up. I guess I'm stuck here. Think about this.
Your forecast on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
All right. I realized I was like, I can't leave. I know.
Hot cakes.
Happy Monday from the Fox 8 Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Shelby Latino, and we're looking at temperatures in the mid-70s for this afternoon on the backside of a front. Cooler, drier air will be moving into the area. You'll notice those clouds clearing, giving way to more sunshine and clear skies tonight will allow for some of the coolest air of the season. Temperatures falling into the upper 40s and low 50s on the North Shore, upper 50s and low 60s on the South Shore. From the Fox 8 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shelby Latino. Have a great day.
As a busy parent,
when he spills coffee on his crotch,
shouldn't be as stressful as fighting through traffic.
Yeah, I did that already once.
No.
Thermometer.
Our man David Grunfeld's in here, and we're just telling him about Jeff's trials and tribulations with coffee and F-bombs and YouTube.
It's the second annual wine.
Well, you know, it's funny. We had a caller call us and ask if we knew that we could hear you underneath the commercials. And at first I thought he was saying he was hearing it on the
radio,
air. Yeah, so I'm freaking out. I'm looking at the board. I'm going, no, what could possibly? I'm like, are you watching it on YouTube? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, you get added coverage. You get bonus features with the YouTube video.
You get us complaining about Saints PR. You get us cursing.
Corey Johnson and spilling coffee on Duncan's crotch.
Yeah. All right, we're going to play Coach O here finally.
Sure. I believe you.
Dude, we're going to do it.
You've never steered me wrong.
Play.com.
It's rare.
Downloaded the app and play games on my computer for free. No sign up and no
so I can't say
required.
Never.
Nothing like a
well, that's true.
Take me away, but I don't have time for a movie or novel. So instead, I'm into the latest I Play games in the Mystery Case Files Adventure series. And when I need a classic, Agatha Christie murder mystery games hit the spot. I get my mystery fix and come away thinking more clearly. No Wi-Fi? No problem. With the free I Play app, I can play my games offline and tune out. I'm so glad I went to iPlay.com and downloaded the app. It's my daily sanity restoration. I play every day.
I was going to look. You didn't?
I mentioned like one little thing about the play about Cam Jordan and said it was
Want to transform a room for less than $20? The Home Depot has the secret formula.
Well, I mean, we're getting ready
we call it paint. From our top brands like Behr and Glidden, starting at
15 seconds.
There's no easier way to take your walls from okay to oh wow. And at these prices, there's no reason to leave any wall behind. Get your project rolling with top paint brands, starting at only $17.97 a gallon at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only.
Yeah.
Girl, I must. The uncensored talk about your teams. Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Welcome back, Dunc and Holder. Got about, 17 more minutes of Monday radio fun. Always fun on a Monday, win, loss, whatever. Awesome interaction. And look, it's all over the place. YouTube Live, you can interact, of course, 504-260-1280. If you missed any of it, sports1280.com, NOLA.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. You can catch it all after the fact, during the fact, maybe before the fact. I don't know. Maybe we can gain some technology, get zap into our heads and predict what we're going to say on the show.
I've got to get on a soapbox real quick.
Another one?
Yeah.
Is it about runny eggs?
Since we're going,
is it about your fantasy team? Is it about Louisville stinking?
We're going into the Coach O audio.
Okay.
Driving back from Baton Rouge, the I-10 corridor is without question the biggest frustration of my journalism career, making that trek. And I'm sure our listeners out there would agree. What is it with people on that stretch? Maybe it goes on everywhere, but what is it with people on that stretch that refuse to get in the right lane? Everybody parks it out in the left lane, especially on the Bonnie Carey Spillway. It's like they act like they're not going to be able to get back in the left lane. So everybody loads up in the left lane, and I passed at least 24 people in the right lane because they just get out in the left lane going 50 miles an hour and refuse to budge. You can get a foot away from their bumper, which I don't do because I don't tailgate, but it drives me berserk. What are these people? They act like the left lane is a passing lane, Larry. It's a passing lane. It's not for sightseeing. It's not for tourists. Get your butt over in the right lane, and then when you go up on somebody, you pass them. It's simple. It's driving 101. When I spent time in Europe this past year, that never happens over there, ever. Everybody knows how to drive. It's maddening coming back from an LSU game at night, passing in the right lane. All right, I'm done.
You sound like the crustiest old man in America.
Call me what you want.
I'm just
speaking the truth.
Crustiest old man in America.
Get over in the right lane, you slow driving people. God.
Get off my lawn.
Exactly.
Get in the right lane. It's a passing. The left lane's a passing lane. I'm going to run. I think I could run for office on that ticket. That and fixing the potholes, and I'd get elected.
Dave, we need to have a segment every week where we give crusty old man Jeff. Like, we need to pick a day.
Jeffrey's Soapbox.
Jeffrey's Soapbox. I want to get a soapbox. Do I get one? If Jeff gets to have one, I need one.
What is so hard about it? Get in the right lane. You're going 55 miles an hour on an interstate. Get in the right lane. Let me pass you. Why am I passing 20-something people in the right lane? It happens every time you go to LSU. That stretch, especially the Bonnie Carey Spillway, it's like people are just staring out the water and the waves.
Still going on.
It's maddening.
He's still doing this.
Maddening.
He's still doing this.
Yes, he is, because it's freaking needs to be done. People need to understand. There's probably people driving right now on that stretch listening to us.
LSU beat Auburn.
And there's someone in the left lane going 55 miles an hour.
Well,
I feel better.
You ran for mayor too late. Look, we got Desiree Charbonnet and LaToya Cantrell runoff. Where were you?
Historic. It's a historic runoff. We're going to have a female mayor, woman mayor for the first time ever.
We could have had an even bigger thing. An old crusty sports columnist could have been in the runoff.
What is this old? Leave the crusty in. Drop the old.
Oh my God!
Fine, you and Dave. Dave's still bent because I made fun of Star Wars.
Oh, I spilled coffee all over myself. Oh.
No, I've forgiven you, Jeffrey.
Thank you, buddy.
Until the movie comes out, Jeff just like torches Star Wars.
I'm dressed in full stormtrooper regalia and standing in line. I'm on board.
So now, instead of me screaming about Country Fried Friday, I've absorbed it and I'm going to say embraced it. Now you are in.
Yes.
For all your Star Wars fun.
I'm trying to be more open-minded, but I'm not open-minded about bad driving, and it's an epidemic on I-10.
Did we just waste a segment on that? Because I think we just did.
I think most people out there agree with me and realize finally somebody's speaking up. We have the platform.
This sounds like a perfect topic for you and Corey on the neutral ground.
I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Am I right, Dave? This sounds like it's
exactly
the perfect
correct.
topic.
Yes.
That is one of Corey's, tentpole items.
Also, what is it? Don't drive with your flashers on. He goes bonkers about that for as long as I've ever known him on the radio.
I've never heard that, but
when you're driving and
it starts raining, people put on their hazard lights,
and that's illegal.
Yeah, who does that? I don't know. Do people do that?
All over the place.
Well, I haven't seen that. I've just been too busy in road rage mode watching people drive 55 miles an hour in the left lane on I-10.
Dave, I did not sabotage this segment, and even though I promised Ed Ogeron sound, we're not going to have it this segment. We got to wait for the final segment.
I believe it's Tell the Truth Monday, and I'm telling the truth.
I'm telling the truth, too. I saw the Saints 3-2, no problem. All good. I saw it all the way, even through my ranting and raving.
Yes, Tell a Fib Monday with Larry Holder.
Dave, please spare us and let's go to commercial. Maybe we can fit Coach O in. He's talking more sense than you are now. What's happened to you?
I feel much better, I can tell you that. Thank you for allowing me the platform. Jeffrey's Soapbox is retired for
when I suck in a tennis match, can I come on the set and smash a racket and just be like, this is what happened, I lost this point, da-da-da-da, now I feel better?
Yeah, sure, you can do that.
Cool.
I mean, now that you allow me to go off, I feel better. Thanks.
Dude.
Therapy.
Oh, my gosh. I need therapy after that segment. One more segment here. Hear from Coach O. I promise. Dave, it's not my fault if we don't. But I promise we will here. Because it's I Never Tell a Lie Monday here on Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. We're Dunc and Holder.
Join Corey Johnson.
I don't think I've ever heard Jeff talk as passionate in my life as I just did that there.
I was going
Jeffrey's op-ed.
Oh my gosh! Maybe that's what Justin was hearing. I'm hearing Jeff scream about traffic during a conference call.
Have you all not noticed that?
Of course I've noticed.
Yes, we all noticed that.
All right,
we're surrounded by idiots.
Your word, not mine.
That's the reason why we have the highest insurance rates in the country. It's because nobody in this town can drive. Or this whole state.
Introducing the new Naked Egg Taco. Crispy bacon, seasoned potatoes, and melted cheese wrapped in a fried egg shell. Only at Taco Bell. At participating stores for a limited time during breakfast hours.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you.
All right, 1 minute.
Art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
Sports 1280 urges you to make a donation to help out the family of Marcus McNeil, the NOPD officer shot and killed in the line of duty during the early morning hours of October 13th. Officer McNeil leaves behind a wife and 2 small children. You can help by donating what you can to the Marcus McNeil Benefit Fund at any Whitney Bank location. That's the Marcus McNeil Benefit Fund at any Whitney Bank. A message from Sports 1280 Communities, helping to make a difference in New Orleans.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. MAD is here to help. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
This is Dunc and Holder on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
That's the Jeff I know, doing the wiggly arms. Get back into a good mood, my man.
I'm back after that. I feel
my
good.
Goodness, you had to let that off your chest. You know, well,
I know.
It's like Coach O getting a couple wins off his chest, and now all is well up in Baton Rouge. Of course, LSU. Big, significant win against Auburn. Gets the fans off your back. Gets belief within your team. Gets belief probably within himself, honestly, as LSU takes down Auburn, and in dramatic fashion. Look, Auburn blew the lead. The Saints held on to the lead, and so it's a glorious Monday here in New Orleans, at least for Saints and LSU fans. So let's hear what Coach O had to say on his initial thoughts on the win when LSU beat Auburn at Tiger Stadium on Saturday.
Obviously, what a great win for our football team. Very resilient. Get down early in the first quarter. I knew they were going to keep on playing. We made some plays when we were supposed to. Then the second half, I thought our defense came alive. They had 64 total yards of offense, a very potent offense. 4 first downs, 6 pass yards, and no points. What a great job by our defensive staff. Great job by our defensive players. Great job by our overall team. Our special teams were phenomenal tonight. Great job by our offense of scoring the points when we need to, taking care of the football we need to take care of. I thought the crowd was electric. It was everything that you dream about a great LSU football game. I'm just very proud of our football team and our players. Give them all the credit. They did a tremendous job of preparing all week.
And Jeff, you look at the way LSU came out that first half, and it was bumbling, stumbling everywhere. And you got to give credit to everyone involved. Look, DJ Chark could have said, oh, no, here we go again after the big play, and he fumbles the ball away. And, of course, he comes up dynamite. The defense just looking like they had no business being out there, couldn't stop Kerryon Johnson at all, shut him down. Jarrett Stidham, who came in on fire, they really shut him down in the second half. It's an amazing transformation that we saw from the first half into the second half.
I think I know Coach O said you got to credit the players. You got to credit the coaching staff too. Dave Aranda made some adjustments there because, as you mentioned, Kerryon Johnson was having his way. They were running, they were gashing LSU's defense. They made some adjustments. Suddenly, Auburn couldn't move the ball on the ground at all, and that was a critical part of the game. Now, I think Auburn got really conservative. I pointed out in my column, they ran the ball on 14 consecutive first downs after they got up 17-0. And the Auburn beat writing crew, that was a source for a subject for them with Gus Malzahn, because I think Gus Malzahn really felt like their defense could control LSU's offense. But credit LSU, they made some big plays on third. I think they converted a 3rd and 11, a 3rd and 15, and then another like 3rd and 8. All those behind the chains. That's usually not a recipe for success with Danny Etling and company, but they made them. And Russell Gage had some massive plays.
Oh, him and DJ Shark. I mean, my goodness. Yeah, of course, Russell Gage with the jet sweeps, and then the diving, corner route in the end zone. I mean, perfect pass, and he has to make an athletic catch. And look, without those two guys not making plays, look, they wouldn't have been in this game. But you mentioned the adjustments. Let's hear what Coach O had to say about making adjustments at halftime.
There was a certain formation that they were giving us, and it's something that we had practiced all week, but we just didn't get it right. And we were going to go to something that would have been different, and we decided as a staff, let's get it fixed. And we challenged our team to get it fixed, and it worked.
And that's on shutting down the run game with Kerryon Johnson. Look, they actually went in halftime, cured some ills, plugged it up, and it worked.
Yeah, the really excellent job by the coaching staff. And, we haven't talked about this on the show, but I really feel like Ed Orgeron does not get enough credit. I mean, he's kind of in a no-win situation. When the LSU loses, they blame Ed Orgeron. When they win, everybody credits the players and the two coordinators. He's kind of like Tyronn Lue or David Blatt when you coach LeBron James. If you lose, it's got to be the coaching because you got LeBron James, and if you win, it's all about LeBron James.
4 minutes.
So it feels like no one wants to give Ed Orgeron any credit. He in the coaches show a couple of weeks ago, people were lambasting him. But give credit where credit's due. This is a game I don't think anybody thought LSU was going to win after the way it started.
No, I didn't think they were going to win going in, and I didn't think they were going to win after it started, and they just didn't look like they knew what was going on, and suddenly they did, and that's a credit. And it's not like Ed Orgeron doesn't know what's going on up front. He should be able to know how to fix a run fit, so he's not some big dummy. And also, give him a ton of credit for getting this team bouncing back after a huge win in Florida. It wasn't the prettiest, but they got it done. No one really gave them much of a shot against Auburn, and they got it done. And look, 2 wins after what's happened against Florida and Auburn, I don't care where the games are played, is huge. Here's Coach O on basically getting his team to know that this game was gut check time.
This is a good football team, obviously, and to get up like they did, and for them to believe in each other and to make plays, I thought it was a total team effort. You can see guys coming, leaders, guys making plays, guys like Rashard Lawrence, Devin White. Seven had a great game. Danny hung in there what he's supposed to. We start 2 freshman linemen. We're just becoming a football team, and our whole staff is galvanized. Our football team is galvanized, and it's what we wanted to be. One team, one heartbeat. We showed it today.
And, oh, by the way, LSU may have a kicker. Last I checked, they were in kicker disarray, and then all of a sudden, Connor Clutch Culp comes through huge in the final 2.5 minutes of the game. Look, they were in total disarray, and now maybe they found a kicker. Let's hear what Coach O had to say about giving Connor Culp the chance to win the games.
I kind of believe he was going to make it today for some reason. I just felt like he had gained some confidence in his last week's kick, and after the first kick was spot on, I felt like he was going to make it. I felt good about it.
Well, now you feel real good about it because he made it. You wouldn't have felt real good if he missed any of them.
And give Coach O credit for putting some confidence in his young kicker. A lot of people thought that they should have gone for it on that play. He had confidence. They had to call a timeout. He almost froze his own player.
Right.
And the kid still came through. That's a coaching instinctual move, trusting his gut and believing in his player.
Yeah, absolutely. So, look, LSU getting it done. Could have fooled me, but they got it done. Scored, 13 points in the fourth quarter. They're the only team to score in the second half.
Yeah, and now they got to go on the road and play a rival, Ole Miss, who had a big win against Vanderbilt this past week, and they were a little bit of a desperate team. And it's that's kind of a dicey game, I think. Going on the road, you're playing a team that you should beat. You've had some success. Got a young team. You can't let your foot off the throttle.
And, oh, by the way, LSU now ranked in the top 25 again, 24th in the AP poll. So great show. Appreciate all of the interaction with the callers and YouTube livers. Appreciate you jumping on the show. You missed any part, sports1280.com, NOLA.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube. Jeff, good show. Party on. Don't get too angry on the roads. Just settle down. It's going to be okay.
Monday fun day. It's a lot better around here when teams are winning and playing interesting games like they did.
Absolutely. So definitely some interesting games. And look, another interesting game for the Saints coming up this week, Green Bay. So come on back for Tuesday's show here. Sports1280, NOLA.com, iHeartRadio app. Duncan Holder, see ya.
Airbnb is out with its first ever apartment.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks,
Dave.
All right, guys. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Jeff will come up with something.
Jeffrey's Soapbox will be out tomorrow.
180 nights.
Get all these youngins off the middle of my street.
Keyless door for tenants to more easily rent.
What's the deal with all these decorations?
For the way it turns residential housing areas into ad hoc hotels. Nintendo is moving away from its family-friendly image to take on PlayStation and Xbox for hardcore gamers. The game maker is looking to extend the appeal of its handheld hybrid console, the Switch, which has gotten off to a strong start since its introduction in March. A few adult-friendly games due out soon are Knights of Azure.